So I want to actually thank Trump for bringing up supply management in the actual conversation in Canada. I know it's been in the conversation a little bit throughout our history, but really he has brought it front and center. And before he even started talking about it, I didn't know what it was. I'm sure a lot of other Canadians didn't know what it was, and a lot of people are going to start souring on it eventually. The more people look into it, because it's already always in the news and stuff, people are bound just to Google it and look it up. And a lot of people are going to be against it. And eventually, the positions of the average person, especially if Trump gets his way and is able to implement some of the tariffs that he wants to impose on Canada, and he's saying he's going to avoid doing all that if you just get rid of supply management and a couple other things, right? But specifically supply management. So if they, stand up to Trump like both sides are doing right now and saying, "Oh, are you going to stand up to Trump and Trump's America?" And it's really disappointing to see conservatives talk about Trump like that. And the only reason they are is because they look at the polls about him in the approval rate, and I think it's 10% of Canadians approve of Trump, like 80% don't. But I'm sure a lot of those people can be swayed and can have their minds changed. They just think that's the right thing to say. But if it's pretty easy to convince people. People think a lot of people are set in their ways, which a lot of people are, but the people who are not politically inclined, which make up a vast majority of people, once they're introduced to new information and and you kind of red pill them a little bit, that will send them down the road to start looking into other things and start to look at the media more critically and to just start to be more conservative, because even the liberals see that a lot of this shit is getting out of control with the whole Me Too movement and the transsexual bullshit and all that other crap that is going on. I have nothing against transsexuals, but I'm just saying, like, teaching, having like trannies teach your 3-year-old and read stories to them. Okay, that's getting crazy. Even liberals are like, no, okay, fuck that shit, right? And a bunch of other stuff that they're not even willing to admit gender exists. Which most people agree it does. And they understand, most women understand there's differences between men and women. Most women understand that men are vastly stronger than them, or not vastly, but at least twice the strength, right? So, these things will eventually come to light. And Maxime Bernier standing firm on supply management is going to make him look good in the future. And the conservatives and liberals trying to suck the dairy cartel's dick harder. Like, I was watching them in Question Period, and they're just, oh, well, we really defend the dairy cartel, and the liberals are like, no, we defend it more than you, we created it. And then the conservatives are like, oh, I don't think you actually do care about it, you're willing to make concessions on it, blah blah blah. But it's like, if the Trudeau administration does make concessions on it, that will look good for them in the future. The media is going to spin it that way anyways, but it will look good for them, and it will be good if they do make concessions on it. That will be good. So it's like, I hope that they do, so we can avoid a massive trade war. But if there is a trade war, and we are going to be affected way more than America in that, and the public opinion is going to shift even faster. And all this footage of the liberals and the conservatives in Question Periods sucking the dairy cartel's dick is going to be used against them. And then Maxime Bernier, the only person that whole room saying we should get rid of this to make a deal with Trump, that clip is going to stay, right? It's going to exist. And it reminded me of Nigel Farage in a few years ago when he was speaking to everybody in the EU, and he was talking about Brexit, and he's like, We are going to leave the EU eventually. And everybody there laughed at him. They giggled. And then a couple years later, sure enough, the EU and Brexit happened, and now they're leaving the EU. So all those people are not laughing anymore. So I'm not saying that's going to happen necessarily with this, but to me it looks like that's the case. I think the opinion will change. Supply management isn't going to be here forever, and the people that are cucking for it right now are just going to look bad at the end of the day. So the people that are standing firm on their principles are going to look better. So, keep doing what you're doing, because it's really not helping you. And like the conservatives standing behind this and anchoring essentially themselves to the liberals is not going to be good for them, especially if the public opinion does change. Because like I said, they are cucking for it just as hard as the liberals, where they have a good chance, a good opportunity to be a good opposition party and say, okay, no, let's concede on this. And then the public opinion on it would change even faster, and they would look good for it. But, they want that money from the dairy cartel. Andrew Scheer is elected because of them. So why would he do that? Why would he make good political decisions, right? Because, no, he is paid off by them. So he can't. His hands are tied behind his back. So, this is what you get when you get elected like stupidly like this, and when Maxime Bernier should have been the party leader to begin with. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.